Let's go ahead and get started here. So like I said, if you want to have that blanket handy so that you can sit up on it or use it later on, and those blocks are always great to have as well. So you can kind of shift around, get yourself into this comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to have my legs crossed, but that's entirely up to you if you want to sit in this position. Let's close the eyes down and turn the palms up towards the ceiling in a state of surrender. Grow tall and feel the length of the crown of the head stretching and reaching towards the ceiling, and the tailbone and the sit bone sitting firmly down onto the mat. Let's take a nice nourishing inhale. And then exhale, sigh it out and let it go. Inhale. Arriving in your space. Noticing that pause at the top before we exhale and let it go. One more time, draw in a great big inhale. Hold for just a moment at the top. And then exhale, sigh it all out, let it go. Sitting with the breath for a few more moments. Just feeling into the body, checking in. Noticing how body feels, noticing the breath. On that next inhale, let's go ahead and dip the chin down towards the chest. Keep shoulders rolled away from the ears and take a breath into the back of the neck. Drawing the chin over towards the right side, release the right ear to the right shoulder. Take a breath here. Then slowly dip the chin down towards the chest and take the ear over to the left side. Let's do that one more time on each side, drawing the chin down towards the chest, and then releasing the right ear to the right shoulder. Mindfully bringing the chin down towards chest, and ear comes over to the left shoulder. Pause here for a moment. Release the chin once more down towards the chest, taking the hands and interlacing fingertips, bring them behind the back of the head. Bring the triceps and the elbows towards each other. Tuck into a little ball here for a moment. So no pulling or tugging or forcing that chin down. Just a little extra gravity and some more breaths into the back of the neck. Press the back of the head into the hands. Open up those elbows out to the side. Shine the chest forward and get a nice stretch and opening here. Take a few breaths, supporting the back of the head with the hands. Now release the hands from the back of the head, grow tall in the spine once more. Float the fingertips up high. Right hand comes down to the earth, left hand stretches and reaches across the body. Open up. Take a few breaths, feeling the opening inside and the breath fluid in the rib cage. Releasing that left hand down to the right hand. We're going to sweep both hands over towards the center and then come over, placing that left hand onto the earth, and the right hand is going to stretch and reach across the body overhead. Breath open here. And let's flow this movement a little bit. So now bringing that right hand down towards the earth, shift over towards center, come all the way back, and then place that right hand down as we open the left arm up. Release the palm down, and this little half circle sweeping over to the other side, and opening up. One more time on each side. Shift the hand down, circle around, and press open here. Release that top hand down, circle all the way back to the other side, and last time, open up here. Press into that palm, raise the fingertips up above the head, roll shoulders down the back, and then gently fold forward into a forward fold. Take a few breaths. Feeling that nice stretch along the back of the body. Walk hands and come back up to seated. We're going to rotate around and come into our tabletop position. You're welcome to use that blanket to pad up the knees if you would like to, or you can set it aside. I'm going to move my props out of the way. Coming into this tabletop position, let's just go straight into a few cat-cows here. Getting some spinal flexion. And a nice stretch along back body. And those cows, you should feel a good stretch too into the obliques. When you're ready, we return into that tabletop position. We're going to extend that right foot behind, tuck the toe underneath, feel a nice stretch into the calf muscle. Place the instep of the foot down onto the earth. So we're just rotating that foot out, placing our weight into that left hand. Raise the right hand up high. Stretch and reach a little bit higher. Then rotate the palm all the way around into a giant circle. Let's do this 3 times. Bring that hand all the way around and back up. One more time. Really reach and feel through the stretch. Come back up with that palm high. Just open up for a moment here. Then release the palm down onto the earth and draw that knee back down underneath the hip line. Now taking that opposite foot, that left foot out behind, press into the heel so we get that nice stretch into the Achilles, then into the calf muscle. Pivot on the foot so that we're coming to the instep of the foot. Raise that left hand up high. Stacking shoulders for just a moment, press a little taller. Find that rotation of bringing the palm all the way around into this nice giant big circle. One more time. Stack the shoulders for just a moment, stretch and reach. Then release the palm down, draw that knee back underneath the hip point. We're going to walk the hands back, slowly all the way back into a kneeling position. Bring the palms behind, interlace the fingertips. Open up the chest, broaden the collarbones, and bring those palms away from the glutes. Couple breaths. You can square the wrists up, and that's going to help protect the hands and the wrists. So square those wrists to each other. Release the clasp of the hands. Bring those palms around to the front. Place them onto the earth. We're going to walk the feet out as wide as the yoga mat and shift back into a yogi squat. If this is uncomfortable, if it feels like the heels are coming up too much, you can always use that block right underneath the heels or that book or even that blanket here. And if this is uncomfortable for the knees at all, just have a seat down onto the bottom. So use those elbows to press open here. And we're looking for that opposition of that tailbone is pressing down as that crown of the head, just like when we were seated in our easy pose. Take a few breaths here. Now release the palms down onto the earth. Very slowly start to shift a little bit side to side and start to straighten the legs so we come up into a forward fold. Walk the feet in line with the hips and melt the chest down. Might feel good to put a generous bend into the knees if hamstrings are feeling tight. You can find a little sway. Maybe a little shift. Coming into center here, bring the palms to the top of the shins and find a halfway lift. Release the palms from the shins and melt down into a forward fold. Press solidly into the feet and the knees and come all the way up. Hands meet above the head. Take a hold of that right hand with that left wrist. Dip over to the right side and open into side body. Zip back up to center. Take a hold of that opposite wrist and dip over to the opposite side. Raising back up. Release the clasp of the hands and bring those elbow points out. Shine that chest forward, but keep the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale, fingertips come up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down into forward fold. Walk the hands towards the front of the yoga mat. Coming into our downward facing dog. Take a few moments to pedal out the feet. Bending into the knees. And allowing the head to be heavy, maybe even shaking it yes and shaking it no. When you're ready, go ahead and shift forward. Bring those knees all the way back down to the earth. Taking the the knees as wide as the yoga mat and the big toes to touch. We're going to do a little variation of our child's pose with threading the needle. So keep the right hand right below the face and draw that left hand up high. Threading the needle, but not landing down on the mat. So bring that hand all the way through and then raise back up. Bring the palm through, thread the needle, and then back up. One more time. Bring that hand all the way through, hover for just a moment, and then raise it back up. Release the palm down onto the earth, shift the hips back, and then come down into this wide-legged child's pose. Might feel good to kind of shift the hips a little side to side, really getting that pelvis to sink down. And you can bring the forehead down onto the earth, and reach the fingertips even further up towards the front of the mat. Long, deep breathing. Peel the forehead away from the earth. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the knees back underneath the hips. Bring those toes underneath and very slowly shift back into our downward facing dog. Draw in a nice deep inhale and an exhale out. Bend the knees, take a peek forward, and a little walk all the way to the front of the mat. Meeting in our forward fold. Let's bend into that right knee. Keep the right knee or right hand down onto the earth and peel the left hand up into a twist. Release that palm down. Now bend into that left knee, left hand down, and twist open here. Release the palm down. Hover for just a moment. Then find a half lift. Melt down again. Ground into the feet, bend into the knees, and sweep all the way back up. Tall mountain. Taking a hold of that left wrist with that right hand to dip over to the side. Zip back up to center. Take a hold of that opposite wrist and dip on over. Coming back up to center, release the hands, cactus the heart open. Really bring those shoulder points together. Keep that belly button in towards the spine and shine the chest. Inhale, raise the hands up, take a peek up, find a little back bend. Center the body, and then waterfall all the way forward into that forward fold. Place the hands onto the earth, step on back, downward facing dog. Drop down to the knees, widen the knees as wide as the yoga mat, big toes to touch. Now keeping that left hand onto the earth, raise that right hand up. Shift the palm through, thread the needle, take a peek over the shoulder. Raise back up, and then shift the arm all the way through, hover. Once again, reach skyward, and then bring that hand back through, hold for just a moment. Raise back up, place the hand onto the earth, wiggle those hips back and sink down into this wide-legged child's pose again. Take long, deep breaths here. Press into the palms, peel the forehead up off of the earth. Walk the hands all the way back again. We're going to bring those knees together. Hands come behind. We're in this kneeling position. Interlace the fingertips and bring that opposite thumb on top. Roll the shoulders down and away from the ears and bring the palms away from the glutes. Careful not to lock out the elbows here. Keep a bend into the elbows. Feel this nice stretch and heart opener. Without slingshotting, release the clasp of the hands. Bring them back around to the front. Draw the knees out to the side, and we shift back again into our yogi squat. Feel free to shift around and make any adjustments or use any props, or maybe not even go into this posture at all.
Yeah.
When we're ready, we'll go ahead and come into that malasana, into that yogi squat. Using the elbows to press the knees open. Pull up on the pelvic floor and bring the thumbs to the sternum. Now release the palms down onto the earth. Shift a little bit side to side as we start to bring the legs up and straight. Draw the feet right back underneath the hips and melt down into this forward fold. Left hand stays down on the earth while we peel that right arm up, bend into that left knee. Release the hand down and twist to the opposite side. Release the palm down, Pause here in our forward fold. Find a flat back, halfway lift. Melt down again. Bend the knees and sweep the hands all the way up again. Taking a hold of that left wrist with the right hand, dip over to the right side. Center the body, take a hold of that opposite wrist and dip over to the other side. Come back up to center, release the clasp of the wrists here, open up. Now dip the chin in towards the chest and bring the palms towards each other. Keeping that right hand forward, left hand peels back and open. Take a peek over the back shoulder. Bring the palm back around to center. Cactus the arms open again. Shine forward. Tuck the chin in, bring the palms to face each other again. Left hand stays forward as that right hand peels back. Keep those hips towards the front and peek over the back shoulder. Draw the hand back around to center. Cactus open once again. This time, raise the palms up above the head. Find a little back bend, and then shift all the way forward, melting all the way down into our forward fold. Walk the hands forward, coming into our down dog. Draw the knees down onto the earth, and then let's once again, last time, start to walk back into this kneeling position. Bring the hands behind. We can hold on to wrist if that's uncomfortable to create that fist behind. Shine chest up. Release the clasp of the hands. Bring the hands down to the earth. Walk the feet nice and wide. Heels may not come up off the ground, or maybe coming up off the ground, and that is okay. Draw the hands into heart center, shine the chest forward. Last time with our Malasana, with our yogi squat. Release the palms down to the earth. Start to bring that tailbone all the way up. Walk the knees back underneath the hips and melt down, forward fold. Left hand stays onto the earth, bend into the left knee, raise that right hand up into a twist. Release the palm down, and we twist to the opposite side. Release the palm down, fold here for just a moment, and then take your time to ragdoll slowly all the way up to standing. When we arrive at the top, let's zip those legs together, really together. We're bringing those toe mounds nice and flush with each other and squeezing the legs together. We'll have a little sliver of space in the back of our heels. Draw the hands together at heart center and have us sit down into our chair posture. So we want to make sure that those knees are not jutting forward over the toes. We're keeping that weight towards the back, towards the hips, and sinking down just a little bit more. And just like when we were in our squat, we're bringing those thumbs to the sternum and widening the elbows out to the side. Taking a nice deep inhale and an exhale out. And find that same twist that we had earlier. So bring that right palm forward, palm is facing away, and twist over to the side. Draw the hand back around to center and twist to the opposite side. Keep sitting down in that chair. Hand comes back around to center, and then draw the hands in towards the heart and raise all the way up. Release the hands down to the hip line. Close the eyes down and just keep those legs really squeezed together. I want you to feel maybe that little off balance that difference that we have here. Normally we widen our stance, and when we widen our stance, we get a little bit more stability. But right now, I want you to feel really grounded down into the earth. Draw the right foot out to the side, and then cross it over so that the knife edge of the feet are lining up together. Without tweaking out that back knee, we want to make sure that we're keeping a bend there. Shift the hips so that they're facing forward, and hands are at the hips as we slowly come into a half lift. So flat back, gaze is down. Slowly rise all the way back up. And then once more, guide that chest down, hinge at the waist, peeking down. Keep pressing firmly into both feet. We're getting this nice stretch into the IT band here. Very slowly rise all the way back up. Release the foot, and then widen the stance here so that we are hip width apart. Close the eyes down, bring the hands to heart center, and just feel again the difference with that wider stance. Inhale to sweep the fingertips up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down into our forward fold. Plant the hands onto the earth. Step back, downward facing dog. Taking a nice deep inhale, and then exhale out. Anchoring the left foot down, raise the right heel up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. Keep those shoulders squared, and then draw that knee all the way up and through, planting the foot down onto the earth into our lunge. Keeping that left hand down, raise the right hand up. We're twisting again, but now we're in our lunge. Release the palm down to frame the foot. Lower the back leg down to the earth. We're going to keep that right knee right here by the right wrist. Walk the foot over to that left hand. We're coming into a pigeon, and if this is not okay for you, you can come on your back side and do a reclined pigeon. Flex that toe, so point those toes, kind of think like a Barbie foot, how a Barbie foot is flexing down towards the body. And then shift that back foot just back a little bit more. But we want to make sure that that hip is staying lined up with the foot. Stay tall here for just a moment. Now walk the hands forward, bend into the elbows, and roll down. Press into the hands and raise back up. Let's do that twice more. Bow down, raise up. And if you are on your back side with reclined pigeon, just draw that knee in closer to the body. So rolling down, raising up. Hold here for just a moment. You can stay high here, or if you'd like, you can come down onto the forearms and melt the forehead down to the earth. Keep that toe flexed, and if you feel like you have too much space between that bent leg, between that right hip and the earth, you can use that block or that blanket to prop yourself up. Let's take a mindful inhale and exhale out. Inhale. Exhale to release. One more time, inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Take your time to raise the head up, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck that back toe underneath, raise the knee up to release the leg and come into that down dog. Shake it out. And then find some stillness here. Bend the knees, look forward, and stroll all the way to the front of the mat. Move forward fold. Halfway lift and melt down. Press into the feet, sweep all the way up, and gentle palms into heart center. Zip the legs together, really together again. So we want those toe mounds together and the legs really together. Roll shoulders away from the ears and have a seat down again into our chair pose. Sinking down just a little bit more. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. Still in that chair, but now we're twisting. Draw the hand around to center and then open to the other side, twisting open here. Draw those palms back together, bring them into the heart, sink down just a little bit more. Then release the hands down, fold down, and raise all the way up. And hands come to the hip line. Still keeping those legs nice and together. Take that left foot, cross it over the front of the right knee. Lining up the knife edge of the feet here without blocking out the back knee. Shine hips here, and then hinge forward. We're not coming all the way down. We're pressing firmly into both feet. Raise back up. And once again, come into that half lift, gazes down. Press back up and release the cross of the feet. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up. Exhale, shift all the way down, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Right foot stays planted on the earth as that left heel raises up, three-legged dog. Draw the knee all the way up and through. You can even give it a little hand if you'd like to at the front of the mat. Right hand stays down on the earth as that left hand peels up, twisting open. Release the palm, frame the foot. Release that back leg down. Step that foot back a little bit further, and then we're just going to heel toe the ankle over towards that opposite wrist. So flex the toe so that it is facing towards the body. Like I said, think about a Barbie foot there. Notice how the side is different than the other side. If you need props underneath the hips, then you can always use that blocker blanket here. Or you can always come on your back side and come into reclined pigeon. Stay tall for another moment. Then walk the hands a little further towards the front of the mat. You're going to bend the elbow and shift the chest down. Inhale to press up. And exhale to float forward. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, melting down. One more time, raising up. And then folding forward. You can stay high here if you would like, or come down onto the forearms and rest the head down. If you're feeling any discomfort in the body at all, come on out and find reclined pigeon on the back. Long, deep breaths. Let's take a community inhale and an exhale out. Inhale. Exhale to release. One more time, inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Slowly rise all the way back up. Place the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck back toe underneath, raise knee, and release the leg. Pedal out here a few times in down dog. Just feel the difference in the body. Sometimes the release of the posture is where we really feel the changes. Find some stillness for a moment. Peek up towards the front of the mat and take another stroll all the way up, forward fold. Bending into the left knee, keep the left palm down onto the earth as that right hand raises up. Release that palm down, bend into the opposite knee, and raise up on the other side. Release the palm down, find that half lift, then melt forward. Bend the knees, swoop all the way up, tall mountain. Gentle the palms into heart center, and then step the feet nice and wide. Toes turn out, heels are towards each other. Bring the palms back in as we sink down. Roll shoulders away and come into our goddess pose here. We're going to take the hands and press them as if we're pressing into the walls on both sides. Sink down just a little bit more. Flip the palms up towards the ceiling. Straighten the legs, bring the hands over the head. Keeping palms so that they're facing towards the ceiling, bend into the knees, open into this Y shape here. Straighten the legs, bring the palms back up. Guide the hands into heart center and come back down into our temple pose. Raise back up, 5-point star. Press the palms as we sink down into our goddess pose. Check in and see if those knees are guiding into the center. See if you can press them back and open here. Flip the palms, raise the hands overhead, straighten the legs. Sink down into our moon god pose. Palms are facing up, Y shape with the arms. Breathe. Hands come up above the head, straighten the legs. Now draw the hands into heart center, sink down into our temple pose. Let's go through that flow one more time. Raise up, 5-pointed star. Hands are parted. Press the palms away as we sink down. Think about pressing bad energy away from the body. You can even take out that tongue and do a nice lion's breath. Flip the palms, straighten the legs, bring the palms above the head. Keeping palms faced up towards the ceiling, sink down into that Y shape. Raise back up, hands come above. Bring the palms to heart center as we sink down. Last time, hold here. Bring those elbows out to the side. Press firmly into the palms. Straighten back up, 5-pointed star. Then release the hands to the hip line and slowly heel toe the feet together. Nice job. We're going to do one more standing posture, getting into those hips a little bit more. So we practiced our pigeon pose, either in a traditional pigeon or even on our back side, depending on where you're at today. Let's practice a standing pigeon. We're going to take that right foot out to the side, draw it across the body. So this is a balancing act as well. Flex the foot, and we're just bringing that ankle right above the left knee. Bring hands into heart center and sink down into our chair pose. So these are all things we've already done, and now we're just adding a little bit more to it. Roll shoulders away and back, and sink down a little bit more. And if you fall out, you can come right back. We're going to start to hinge at the hips like we did when we had the feet crossed. Bringing the elbow on top of the knee and the opposite elbow on top of the foot. So we're in this half lift here, gaze is down. Keep breathing, keep pressing into that standing foot. Take your time to slowly stand back up. Release the cross of the leg and release the hands. March out the feet a few times. And then we can just kind of shift, oops, I got off balance there of all places. And just shift side to side, taking out any tension in the spine. And also marching through the feet. Centering the body, let's do that on the opposite side now. So we're gonna cross the ankle over the top of that right knee now. So left foot comes back and across. Draw hands into heart and then have a seat down. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, go ahead and bring that elbow to the top of the knee and that elbow over to the top of the foot on that right side. Keep sinking down a little bit more, so as if that weight is into that tailbone, it's kind of drawing down onto the earth. Gaze is down, breath is steady. Pressing firmly into the standing foot. You've got this. Very slowly start to straighten up and release the leg out. March the foot out and add a little bit of the sway in the arms. Nice job. That's really, I always feel like I really get into my hips when we do that standing pigeon for sure. Walking to the front of the mat. Let's find this flow one more time. Inhale, fingertips raise up. Exhale, cactus the chest and heart. Open nice and wide. Inhale, fingertips raise up. Exhale, let's do that once again. Open up. Now draw the chin in towards the chest, the palms towards each other. Hold here for a moment. Left hand stays forward as that right hand peels back. Take a peek behind. Keep pressing in those opposite directions. Now slowly draw the hand around and open into the twist on the opposite side. Palms come back around to center. Cactus again, opening up nice and wide. Fingertips come up, melt down, forward fold. Plant the hands onto the earth, step the feet back, downward facing dog. Shift forward and release the knees down to the earth. Walk the legs all the way around to the front and extend the legs out front. I'm gonna shift around on my mat here a little bit. Legs are in front. You can take them a little bit wider so you can create space for the belly or keep them close together. Hands come up, palms face towards each other. Melt down into that forward fold again. Notice the difference when we are seated compared to when we're standing. Hands may not come all the way to the feet. They might just rest right here by the ankles or even up by the thighs. Let's move a little bit by finding a halfway lift. And then exhale, melt down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, melt. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Staying here for several breaths. Taking your time to slowly wind all the way back up to seated. Taking the feet down onto the earth, knees facing up. Palms come back to facing towards each other. We're going to take our time to very slowly lower down. So we're working into the core a little bit here. So take your time. We're not coming all the way down just yet. Maybe stop, hover, release a little bit more, stop, and hover. Release a little bit more. Have that shake of the body, it's all good. And when you're ready, go ahead and come all the way down onto the earth. Draw the knees into the chest and give them a good squeeze and hug here. Release the soles of the feet back down onto the earth. Cactus the arms into a nice T. Walk the hips over towards the right side of the mat And then allow the knees to waterfall down to the left side of the mat. Make some adjustments with the legs however you would like. Stacking knees over the top of each other. And then take a peek over towards that right side with the chin. With the right ear coming down towards the earth. Long, deep breathing. Lots of twists today to wring out the spine. Center the head if you're looking over towards the shoulder. Draw that belly button in as we slowly bring the knees back over to center. Center the hips once more. Pause for just a moment. Then take the hips, so pick up the hips, bring them over towards that right side of the mat, and then allow the knees to waterfall over to the left. Peeking the ear over towards that left shoulder. You can find any adjustments with the legs that you would like here. Finding the twist that is suiting you. Nice deep belly breaths. If you have the head turned, slowly turn it back up towards the sky. Engage in the core as you bring the knees back up and through. Pick up the hips and center it into the center of the yoga mat. Draw the knees back in towards the chest. Give them a little squeeze. We're going to release the soles of the feet down onto the earth. And taking the hands and placing them right underneath the sacrum. So palms are facing down. We're going to draw the legs up towards the sky. Flex the feet as if you were standing on the ceiling here. So toes are facing towards the face but not tilting. As if you have flat feet on the ceiling. Spending a few moments here, stretching those legs. We practiced our forward folds in a couple different directions. Now let's just think about them standing on the ceiling. Getting that blood to reverse the flow. Here for just 2 more breaths. Bend the knees and slowly release the hands underneath and the legs back down. Now bring the soles of the feet and knees out to the side. Done a lot of opening into the groin, so this should feel good. And if it doesn't, you don't have to bring the knees as close or the heels as close towards the body. You can bring them out a little bit further. I encourage you to play around and find what is working for you, whether we want to have that diamond shape a little bit towards the bottom of the mat or towards closer to the body. Rest the hands on top of the belly. And let's just play with the breath a little bit here. Inhaling into belly, into chest, into collarbones, and sigh it out. Breathe again into belly, chest, collarbones, sigh it out. One more time, breathe into belly, expand into chest, slip into collarbones, hold, then sigh it all out. Resting here for just a few more moments. Take the hands to the sides of the thighs and gently guide the knees back together. So let's find that internal rotation of the hips, walking the feet as wide as the yoga mat, then allowing the knees to TP in. My dear yogis, if you'd like to stay here for your Shavasana, this is a perfect place to be. Or if you'd like to extend the legs long, taking them out all the way to the bottom of the mat, that's an awesome place to be as well. Just using these last few moments together to soak up the nourishment of our practice. Just to really feel into the body all the changes that we've made in this practice. And invite gentle movement. The knees are still bent. Start to windshield wiper them side to side. Rolling out wrists, wiggling fingertips. And when you're ready, extend the hands overhead. Extend the toes down towards the bottom of the mat. Reach, 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 and stretch. Exhale, let it all go. Keeping that right hand drawing up towards the top of the body. Bend into the knees. Shift over to the right side. Rotate and rest the head down on top of the right forearm or the right bicep. Take a few moments to breathe here. Maybe thinking about something that you integrated into your practice today that you would like to take with you off the yoga mat. Use that top arm to support yourself as you guide yourself back up into our easy pose and find that seated position. Take the shoulders up towards the ears and relax them down the back. Let's do that once more. Inhale and exhale to release it down. Dip chin in towards the chest. And let's just end this practice with a few full neck rolls. Just taking any last tension out of the neck. And the next time that chin meets chest, reverse the direction around. And bring head back to center. Extend the hands above the head, reach and stretch once more. Then bring palms together and gentle them all the way back into the heart. Pause again. Inhale. And exhale to release. Thank you so much, yogis, for joining me and sharing your practice and your energy. I hope you're feeling great in mind and body. Namaste.